You know that you can change a life when you believe. When you believe in yourself. 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 When you believe you're gonna make a miracle. Yeah, when you believe. You got it in yourself when you believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself. When you believe. Said we can make a miracle. We can make a miracle. We can make a miracle. Make a miracle. We can make a miracle. Make a miracle. We can make a miracle. Said I believe in me. I believe in you. If we believe in each other, there ain't nothing that we can't do. No, no, no. So we can make a miracle. We can make a miracle. We can make a miracle. Make a miracle. We can make a miracle. Make a miracle. We can make a miracle. Make a miracle.
Let's pray together. Take a moment and just take a deep breath. Eyes closed, feet on the floor. Feeling your seat beneath you. Feeling grounded. Knowing that this time and place is the perfect time and place to be here together. So in this perfect moment, in this perfect place, in this perfect time, we know that we come together as a community to love one another, to love the world, to show our faith and love and trust in God. So as we do this, we come together as loving people, people who show love, express love to the world and beyond. With that love comes the energy of that oneness, the energy of that one who has created each and every one of us and each and everything on this planet and beyond. So knowing that, taking a breath into that oneness, just feel that. Just know that you are part of that, and that each and every one of us is part of that. So in this knowing, we are so grateful for this time together in this beautiful place to come together. And we are so grateful and thankful for those who volunteer their time, for our ushers, for our music, for our audio visual, for our practitioners, for our hospitality, and mostly for Reverend Jenn. We know that her message touches our heart each and every week, and we take away at least one golden nugget every time. So for this, we are so grateful. We are so thankful for this time together. As we say together, and so it is. Amen. And we have some words of inspiration today. And the first one comes from Jim Collins. The genius of the and is a concept that describes the ability to embrace both extremes of a number of dimensions at the same time. The idea is that the best leaders do not choose between A and B, they find a way to include both. And also from the same man, the problem with personal growth is that it can introduce a contradiction. We learn the importance of knowing that I am enough, while simultaneously realizing that we could always learn more and do better. So which is it? Are we enough, or could we be better? Yes, we are enough, and yes, we can do better. I love those. Those were good. And from our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes, turn entirely from the condition or the limited situation to its opposite. That is, to the realization of health, happiness, harmony.
In our statements of belief, we declare this. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. This means that all the paradoxes we see in the world must be, in their totality, an aspect of the one. So for 4 weeks now, we've been talking about paradox. We've been looking at ways to expand our thinking and possibly find some new tools and techniques for our decision making. And in this process, we are learning that even though things may look like they are opposing, even though things may look like they are not alike, there is some commonality to that, and there is an ability for us to comprehend it, to accept it, and to embrace it in our own minds because it exists in the mind of God. So what a great realization for us and remembering for us as we look back over this past month and all that we've done. It also means that every problem, challenge, polarity, either or thinking, suffering, and all of the ways that the world isn't working out currently must be aspects of the one mind. This is one of those places where we get caught in that kind of, what do you want to call that, a conundrum. If God is in everything, then God is in the situation, the condition where there was an automobile accident, then God is in a snowstorm where someone gets stranded, then God is in, but it doesn't mean, we're not saying that Spirit created it. And that's where we get ourselves all kind of tripped up a little bit about it, because we think that God made this happen. Well, this is God's will. God must want this to happen, that's why it's happening. No. We must want it to happen, that's why it's happening, because God created us and God gave us choice. And in those choices that we make, we are learning to expand our awareness, to expand our consciousness, and accept and embrace the paradox. Each week we've looked at this from just a little bit different angle. And I'm learning a little bit more about playing with this. Because what I've discovered, even though I thought I had this one kind of down, what I've discovered is that as soon as I look at an either-or concept, I have stepped into limitation. I have told myself I can't have it, or I can't have it this way, or it has to be this way instead. And all I'm saying to each of us is that's not the truth. That's not the truth. We can choose and in all of the things that we are doing in all of our affairs. So Lao Tzu gives us this quote. If you try to change it, you will ruin it. Try to hold it, and you will lose it. What does that quote do for any of us? Well, for some of us, it makes us stop in our tracks and go, well, now what? So what can I do? And that's not quite what he's saying. Because it sounds like there's no solution, but that's not the truth. It's encouraging us to let it go, to allow, to accept, to embrace, and still avoid holding on with all our might. Put your hand in a fist and squeeze it as tightly as you can. Do you have moments in your day where your body is behaving just like your fist is right now? Do you get on a phone conversation and someone starts to tell you something they're going to do and you're going, oh, no, 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 in your head? Hopefully you're not saying that on the phone. We're holding on tight. We came into this world and we were greeted by some amazing people who were just thrilled to see us, thrilled to have us as part of their lives. And we don't want to let go of that. We don't want to let go of the good feelings, and we don't want to let go of the things that we think are positive in our lives. And we're clutching on too tightly. So let's take a moment and look at the idea of spirituality. Because spirituality in and of itself is filled with paradox. We often talk about the masculine or feminine energy. We talk about consciousness and matter. We talk about living in the world but not of the world. We talk about the inner and the outer landscape. You see, everything we see, everything around us, everything in our reality is a manifestation of our beliefs. Everything. If I believe it so, I will see it. And the truth about this, which you can test this because I've done it a bazillion times, is if you don't believe it, you're not going to see it. Just like if you're not looking for it, you can walk in the room, you can open the refrigerator, open the cupboard, you can't find it anywhere because you believe it's not there. Our minds are so incredibly powerful. And so we want to think about this week. And what I chose for this quote is the Chinese symbol of yin and yang, which we think are opposites, but they're not, because what you see in the symbol is you see the lighter background with a dark center in it. And then you see the darker background with a lighter center. So both sides of this incorporate the other. And that's the truth of our existence and our experience. You see, we know these seeming opposites are just really two sides of the same coin. How many of you were taught to flip a coin? Heads or tails? And we saw those as opposing things, right? We got to get that sense that it's either one or the other. And yet, the truth is, it's one coin, and it has two sides. So we look at this in the concept of darkness and light. And I thought about this morning because I was on the road last night, as many were, and in the darkness, after the sun had set, the snow and the storm looked treacherous. To some degree, it was unmanageable. And if you drove any distance today, you saw some cars off to the side of the road who chose into the unmanageable concept last evening because their cars are sitting out there stranded. But when the light started to shine on the snow this morning, it took it a while, at least at my house. It didn't start out with the sun out bright and brilliant first thing, but it was out there eventually. But as soon as the sun was shining on the landscape, it didn't look so treacherous anymore. It didn't look like it wasn't achievable to get here. It didn't look like I couldn't overcome it because light was shining on it. Well, where is the light when the conditions in your life are becoming too dark to deal with? It's within you. And all you have to do is shine some light on it and make it more manageable, more acceptable. Cherie Carter Scott gives us this quote this afternoon. Extraordinary people visualize not what is possible or probable, but rather what is impossible. And by visualizing the impossible, they begin to see it as possible. I can't remember the names because I didn't know I was going to talk about this, but years ago, the fastest anyone could run a mile was 10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever. Everybody believed that the timing of a sprinter or a runner to run a mile was pretty much capped off until one day an individual broke the record. My friends, this concept of impossible, we are here to break records. That's what we're here for. We're here to say, well, maybe you got it done that way, but I'm going to do it this way, and let's see how this works. There is no impossible or improbable condition or challenge for any of us because we know that the power within us is the power of God, and my God, the one God, is more powerful than any challenge or condition. It is more powerful than the mood I happen to be in at the moment. It is more powerful than my anxiety, if that's what's going on at a specific time. It's more powerful than my feeling angst or challenged by something and I'm trying to get my head wrapped around it. God is more powerful than all of that if we simply choose it and allow ourselves to lean back into that presence. A religious scientist, which is what many of us call ourselves. We study the science of mind philosophy, and we consider ourselves to be religious scientists. Is not one who assures themselves that wrong is right, or evil is good, or that limitation is freedom, that bondage is liberty, or that sickness is health. That's not what we do. We look at the condition. We embrace the truth of who we are and how we are in the moment. And then we allow the power to move us through it, to move us past it, to overcome, to address it in whatever way we need to. We don't claim that our objective experience is an illusion. We're not here to ignore what's going on in the world. But we do make the claim that behind the phenomena of human and material existence, behind the slow and persistent process of evolution, there is, again, one mind. One mind. So if we could grasp this, if we could get a handle on this fact that there is this one singular presence, it permeates all life. It is a divine energy that shows up in every religion, in every spiritual context. if we can get a hold of that, if we can embrace that, then we can be accepting of the paradox. We can learn to play with the idea of opposites not being so opposing after all. We claim the mind, this one mind, is perfect, and we all have access to it. I think we start to question it sometimes when we run into someone who doesn't quite see it that way. Or we see someone who appears to be successful or wealthy or highly achieving things, and we think, well, they don't even believe in this stuff. So do I need to question it? No, you don't. Is it really real? Yes, it is. And so let's do this as we go forth here, and when we come to those moments when we're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not sure, I'm doubting, I'm hesitant, I'm being fearful, and at those moments in time we reach out to someone who can support us in reinforcing what we believe and reinforcing who we are. And that might be a friend, that might be a practitioner, that might be a minister, that might be going into a very powerful book that you're reading that's giving you some really great insights, any number of things. But I find it so interesting that we choose to pick a person, and then we try to make them be our example, and then we start to question everything that we know. And let's don't do that. Let's don't do that this week. At least this week we won't do that. Ernest Holmes understood so much. He was truly a man ahead of his times, but he understood that we can see from both perspectives simultaneously. Our objective experience is real, and there is the one mind in back of all things. So both of these ideas must be held and known simultaneously in order for us to truly step up and create a world that works for everyone. Do you know why we don't live in a world that works for everyone today? Because not enough people believe that that's a possibility. That's all it is. They're caught up in some other way, some other idea, some other concept, and they don't get it. But there is a huge number of us, that influx that's coming forth that does believe it, and we are the influencers, and we can influence this, and we can bring this world to a peaceful setting, to a place where everyone is served. Everyone is held in a sacred identity. Everyone is respected regardless of who they are, how they are, who they choose to love. Everyone is embraced in that idea. We can all take this step forward. And what we get to do is we get to step out of that wonderful thing called a comfort zone. And I had a battle with this morning as I was looking outside at the snow and the snow coming down and the ice on the street, and I'm thinking, boy, I don't want to go out in this. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I'm trying to stay in my comfort zone. How many times do I stand up here and tell you all that we've got to get out of our comfort zone? And here I am at home with my cup of coffee thinking, I'll just snuggle in. I have said in all the years of training, and I've said it since I've been a minister, I will never tell you to do something or encourage you to do something or ask you to do something that I am not willing to do myself. I just don't find it appropriate. So let's look at this and let's consider that we can visualize the impossible. Let's say you have some horrible situation in your life. Maybe it has to do with finances. Go out there and get the most abstract concept of how it could play out differently. And just play with it for a while. Visualize it. Visualize somebody coming to your front door and saying, hey, I just paid off all your bills. Visualize something just a little bit out there. And then allow that to be a part of your reality. Pray on it, consider it, ask what's yours to do, what do you need to do, and see what happens. And if someone shows up at your door this week and tells you they paid off all your bills, you better call me. Because I want to hear all about it. I want to hear all about it. So what we're looking for with this and concept is we're trying to detach from the old paradigms. That's the idea that we always did it this way, therefore we should always do it this way. And we're learning so much in science, agriculture, every aspect of our world, we're learning that the way we've always done it isn't working anymore. So we've got to shift. We've got to do something different. So let's look at this from a real perspective for just a moment. The New Dawn community here in Aurora, Colorado. As a spiritual community, we cannot move forward unless we are willing to let go of the past. And I had a great conversation with one of my sons this week, and he was telling me a story, and when he tells the story, he goes back to tell me all the preceding things that happened before, and then what happened 10 years ago, and then what happened here, and brings it all back to current. And I said, I just noticed that you and I have a knack to do the same thing. And what it was about was a decision had been made, and the circumstances of that decision were not unfolding the way he wanted them to. And I said, I do this a lot, so I'm going to ask you, how often do you say yes? And then after you say yes, and I didn't say whine and cry to him, but that's the terminology I would use with self. That's what I would say to me. And you whine and cry about how it happened, and it shouldn't be happening this way, and this is going wrong, and that's going wrong, and that's going wrong. Who said yes? He received a promotion. He was told how the hierarchy was going to show up, and he chose not to accept it. And it's creating complications. You think? And I said, yeah, but even though you felt coerced, even though you felt pressured, even though you felt some of these things were coming at you and they weren't comfortable, what did you say at the end of the conversation? And he said, I said yes. And I go, bingo. So if I'm looking at my life now, because this was huge for me just to have that conversation with him, to go, how many times am I still holding on to something that didn't quite happen and unfold the way I wanted it to? But I said, whatever, I'm gonna make it work. And then at every single obstacle, every tripping point, I was like, oh my gosh, what did they do to me, or how did this happen to me? It didn't happen to me. I stepped forward, I volunteered, and I said yes. I created it. And that's how we live in the world of accountability, and that's how we're able to move forward. So as a New Dawn community, we have to look at, are we holding on to stuff from the past? And the entire world of spirituality and religion, when it comes to church services or community connections or however you want to term it, are all changing. It's a paradigm shift. People aren't coming together in groups for the same reasons that they once did. Why not? What do we need to heal? What do we need to make better? What do we need to do differently? And let's open our minds up and let's open up our hearts to that. You see, as humans, we have an innate desire to keep everything the same. Because it's simpler, right? Isn't it simpler? I already did it that way. I know how to do that. I can do it that way again. I can do it that way 10 more times. We want comfort, we want familiarity, but that's not the world we live in. We came here to learn lessons. Yes, you did. Whether you think you did or not, yes, you did. This is called Earth School. We came here to learn all kinds of stuff. And when we graduate, we're going to move into another expression of life. Are you learning? Are we taking the time to absorb the lessons? Or are we trying to put it back into that context of how it always was when I was comfortable? We did a visioning a couple of weeks ago, and I think there's still a hard copy of the notes out there too, and I will make more copies and bring them for next week. I didn't think about that today, I apologize. But most of the comments in the visioning had a specific central focus: prosperity. And prosperity isn't just about money. It's about having the things in your world work. It's about having good, rich relationships. It's about having a strong community. It's about having strength in our practitioner body. It's about having a minister who's willing to listen and empathize with us and be compassionate. It's about good music. It's about so many things. Now, isn't it curious that of the people that showed up in that visioning who did not have a discussion with each other, that's one of the concepts that came out of that vision. So what's it going to take for this community to become more prosperous? What's going to take each and every one of us believing that we have the right to prosper? And that we, as individuals in our prosperity, will bring that prosperity also to our spiritual community. So how are we going to make that happen? Well, I had a conversation this past week with an individual who's one of our new practitioners, and she was suggesting that possibly we take the whole month of January and we focus on prosperity. And I said, yes, absolutely. And she said, oh, I thought you were really attached to the global vision. And I said, we use the global vision. That's where we get our themes and our talk titles every month, every Sunday. Yes. Am I locked in? I don't think I'm locked into anything, truthfully, so no. And so I have kind of handed that back to the practitioners to do some visioning on and to do some preparation and come up with our talk titles for the month of January. And we're going to be spending some time talking about how each one of us can move past that idea of it's not possible to it is absolutely possible and I get to prosper in every aspect of my life. And that's what we're going to be bringing forth in January. I have a quote here that says, there are no limits to your possibilities. Your successes will multiply and increase in proportion to your mastery of the law. Now, I like that. That's by Roger McDonald. I like that quote because it's putting the onus back on each one of us. Mastery of the law. That means that we're studying. That means that we're connecting. That means that we're having the deep, difficult conversations about life and spirituality and how I can make my life work. That's how we master something, is we keep picking it up and we keep doing something with it. A tennis player doesn't go out there on the court and just absolutely be astounding the very first time they pick up a racket and a tennis ball. They have to master the skill. We have to master our spirituality. That means that every single day we get to do something. Now, I read something, I've heard this from a couple of different leaders, so I'm not going to give anyone the acknowledgement for it because I can't remember which one I read it from recently. But he was talking about the fact that we go through life and we go into that place of thinking we are not good enough, we're less than, we're challenged, we're incapable, we're not, it's not possible for us, whatever. And what was stated was, and I've shared this before, everything you do, every single thing you do, from the time you wake up till you return to bed in the evening, every activity you are involved in is a spiritual practice. Now, when I first heard that years ago, I thought, I didn't want everything I was doing to be a spiritual practice because I thought I was kind of hiding some things from time to time. But that's not true. So if you're washing dishes, if you're making the bed, it all has to do with how conscious are you in the moment. That's all it is. And I consider those times when people come to me and they say, I just don't think I'm very spiritual anymore. How can you not be? The only thing that is making that shift for you, the only thing that is creating that border, that boundary, that block, if you will, for you is the very fact that you are choosing to believe that you're not. You're choosing to believe that God's not here with you. And it's simply not the truth. So when we look at this and we look at the concept of looking at the impossible, that's how things get invented. That's how new technology comes forth. That's how new ideas show up. New experiences, new expressions, because someone said, I don't think it's going to work, but I think I can make it work, and maybe I just have to do a little bit of work around that to create it differently. And then we have something brand new, something beautiful. In our Science of Mind treatment, our spiritual mind treatment, when we do a spiritual mind treatment, oftentimes someone will ask for some experience. And it may be a vacation, it may be, whatever it is. It could be health. And oftentimes the terminology we use in our prayers is this or something better. And I say this or something better because I know that even in my attempt to live a limitless existence, I still have a limitation as to what I think can happen. But Spirit has no limitation. So then I want to go to that place that says this or something better because I'm going to let God bring me the answer. I'm going to let God deliver the job to me or the relationship to me or the home or the answer to the problem or whatever it is. I'm going to allow God that energy and space to make it better than I ever imagined. And that's the world that I choose to live in. I have a quote here from Mother Teresa. She says, "I have found the paradox that if you love until it hurts, there can be no more hurt, only love." So again, like with every context that we look at and every spiritual idea that we look at and every tool that we have to tap into, again, we're looking at the concept of love. What is it going to do if we just keep loving? If that person that is just a royal pain and I can't hardly tolerate talking to them, being in the same room with them, if I just take myself into the practice of loving this person, eventually I will be able to move into that place of loving, and I won't have the discomfort. I won't have the pain anymore, because that's how it works. Science of Mind holds a unique perspective that's valuable and necessary for all of us. Ernest Holmes and many other New Thought metaphysicians teach that we need to develop a paradox mindset. Because truthfully, if everything is possible, if anything is possible, if it's all possible, then there is no either or in that process. Sometimes it's about finding that third inclusive way. Well, this one probably won't work, and this one might not work. So what can I take from both of these and create something new, a third idea, another concept? The key to all of this, my friends, is how willing are you? Am I willing enough to open my mind, to listen to that still, sweet voice, to allow it to move me forward? Am I open to that idea? Am I willing? Because when we used to coach employees and look at capability and skill and what they could and couldn't do and where they were at with the tasks at hand after they came out of training, one of the first questions we would ask as leaders in the organization is there will or are they lacking skill? Because if you're lacking skill, as a trainer, which is what I was, I could help you. But if you don't have the will, it just went right back in your lap. So having the willingness to look at it and to consider it. And I think we are willing as religious scientists, and I think we are willing as community members of New Dawn, because we keep showing up every single week, and we keep getting together, and we keep doing the things that we think are that feel good to us and that are serving one another and that are honoring one another and keeping us connected. So that's an important concept right there. That's an important idea. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, says, "There is no stagnation in spirit, nor should there be any in our idea of spirituality. To be spiritual is to create." The spirit is alive, conscious, aware, and active. That brought a whole lot of stuff up for me, because I've talked to people over the years who say, "Oh, I'm just not creative. I'm just not creative. I don't have any creative ideas. I'm thinking, well, you got dressed today, so that was one creative idea that you accomplished. Let's quit right now. Let's avoid putting ourselves down, minimizing who we are, and talking about the limitations of who and how we are. Let's just agree to stop that. And let's continue to build up and look at the fact that the Spirit is alive in me and it is conscious, and my consciousness is allowing me to stay connected to that Spirit, and I'm aware and I'm active and I'm creative. And let's choose that to support us in our week. Ernest Holmes also says to us, life is for us today. Let me say that again. Life is for us today. There will be no change for tomorrow unless we do the changing today. Today we're setting in motion the power of tomorrow. Today is God's day, and we must extract from it what of life we are to live. So that tells me that if I have a certain goal, I have a certain intention, I have an outcome I'm wanting to reach, I'm going to need to do something actively towards that every single day. Because if I'm not doing the little tweaks and the twists and the turns and the adjustments today, I'm not going to experience any change tomorrow. And I don't want to wait, and I've done this before because I always thought, well, I can just do it at the last minute. I can just wait till the night before and then do all the changes and show up the next day different. Stressful, yes. Successful, yeah, anybody's guess on that one. But no, let's don't do it that way. Again, let's incorporate today. What can we do today? Each of us has the ability to live our lives from the genius of the word "and." Each one of us. No one has been left out. Not for any reason, not because of any circumstance. All of us can do this. As we set down our preconceived ideas, our old beliefs, our cultural mindsets, our childhood patterns, the and/or thinking, and we step into something brand new, we can be successful. I often work with people who tell me that they can't do a certain thing, or that this is the truth about them, and I will stop after they've spoken and say, was that your voice that taught you that? Was that your voice that taught you that you have limitation? Was that your voice that said you can't do these things? Now, when I was a kid, my mother told me I could never be president. And I don't even know why that subject came up. I think I was 7 years old. But I was not born in the United States. And I was actually born in Japan before the peace treaty had been ratified, after the whole Pearl Harbor, after all of that took place. So I wasn't an American citizen. I got to debate with a whole lot of school teachers on that one for a couple of years. That was fun. But anyway, I couldn't be president. Now, I could have just laid down on the ground and crumpled up into a puddle and said, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be any good. I remember thinking at the time, do I want to be president? What is a president? I mean, I was 7, for heaven's sakes. But who are the voices? Who do those voices belong to that have tried to limit you, that have tried to keep you safe, possibly, that have tried to hold you into your comfort zone and said, don't you go out there. Don't you go out there. Don't drive in the snow. Don't travel, because we want to keep each other safe. And that causes us all to kind of get stuck. And so let's let go of some of that, and let's pay attention to where it's showing up, and let's allow ourselves to release it. There is no such thing as normal. We're not going back to normal. We're not adapting a new normal. We are existing, we are experiencing, we are expressing. We are human beings that have come from the divine, and we are here to create. Let's just look at it that way. Let's just choose it at the simplest way we can as to how we can move forward and be all that we want to be. And this week, let's take time to look at the genius of the word "and." Please join me in prayer. Right here and right now in this moment, I know that there is an energy in the room, there is an essence, there is an entity, if you will, that surrounds all things, that is in all life, that is here now, present in this moment, surrounding me, surrounding and filling each and every one of us. It is alive. It is alive within each one of us, and it is God, the one power, the truth, the light, the love, universal wisdom. It does not even matter what name we give it. We know there is one. And we know that each and every one of us is from it, of it, created by it. And knowing this, we know that we are connected. We are connected to Source, and we are connected one to another. And so therefore, isn't it absolutely appropriate for each of us to be contributing to the greater good, to the greater concept of humanity, and making the world a better place for all of us? And so this week, as we leave this space and as we go about our daily activities and we tap into the week and we start moving through the week, we choose those actions. We choose those activities that are invoking the change within each of us that we want, that we desire. We are letting go of the things that do not serve us, and we are embracing all that does. And what I know right here and right now is that all people everywhere are blessed by this same God. It's good, it's perfect, it's right, it's just, it's the truth of all of us. And I know that I have the ability to express that to others and to demonstrate that through my own life, as do each and every one of us. And so this week we take the time. We embrace the truth of who we are. We allow Spirit to work through us, guiding us in all things, letting go of everything that does not serve us. We move forward as we visualize and focus on a world that works for everyone. I just give thanks. I give thanks for all of this. I give thanks for this power within me, within each and every one of us. I give thanks for the very ability to speak these words into universal wisdom and know that the one mind already has it. It is already done in the mind of God. And so we just relax into that, knowing it's good, it's perfect, and it's already complete as we let go, as we let God, and as we speak together, and so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude below me, gratitude above me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. We're going to do one more time because I want to, because I didn't hear Ken and I knew he was coming in. Here we go. Thanks so much. Here we go. Gratitude all around, gratitude before me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right. Gratitude below me, gratitude above me, gratitude within me and you, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, yes indeed, I'm so grateful. We're all so grateful. Say
Hello. I'm Reverend Jenn Wilde, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.